I'm mad about it. Hi everybody, my name is Rosalie and welcome back to my channel, back to Chubby. So today is another q&weigh, which means, if this is your first time here, it's a day where I weigh in and also answer some of your questions. I asked for you guys to leave me some questions on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and here in the comments, and you guys did. So I'm going to try and actually get to as many as I can today, as quickly as I can, because if you've been here before, you know I have a tendency to sort of ramble and go off on a tangent. So I'm going to try and get to them and get through them succinctly while still giving you an actual answer. But before that, let's go ahead and do the weigh-in and get that over with.
Hello. It's ready. £368.0 pounds.
Okay, so I gained a few pounds this week. And there have been weeks in the past where I know what the reason is, or I figure it's just sort of water weight or something. I don't know why I gained so much so fast. I certainly did not eat an extra 12,000 or so calories this week. I've been drinking more water, I've been moving more, and working, not like working out, but like doing yard work and stuff more. I'm at my step goal 4 days in a row this week, which might not sound like a lot for most people. But for me, I hardly ever meet my step goal 4 times in a month. I've never met it 4 times in a week, much less 4 days in a row. I've been stricter with myself. I've been drinking more water. I feel like I've been doing everything right this week. I don't think my period is coming, but you never know with me. But I don't think that I'm frustrated. I was already having a bad day when I stepped on the scale. My plan this week had been to try and lose 2 pounds, not gain more than 2 pounds. All I can do is keep trying. So I'm going to try and put myself in a better headspace before I answer your questions. And I hope I don't come across as snippy at anybody. I'm just trying to get through these fairly quickly so I can get to as many questions as possible. I'm sorry if I missed yours, and there will be a few that I sort of roll into one because I've gotten multiple times. I think the first question I'm going to start with that I got multiple times, and I think is very applicable to right now, is how do you stay motivated? And some people ask specifically, since I've been like plateauing recently and sort of stalled out, how do I just keep going? Like, why do I not want to just give up? To be honest, I do just want to give up. I just want to go get some Cheetos right now. Say, screw this. All it's doing is making me angry. But I just have to think about all the good things that have come about from it, where I want to be, how I feel now that I'm here, how I felt when I was heavier, and I just have to sort of power through it. And all of the anger that I feel at the stupid number on the scale, I'm just going to redirect, and I'm going to try and turn that anger into energy. Maybe keep trying to meet my step goal this week. Maybe burn off some extra calories even though I didn't have extra calories this week. I'm fine. I'm fine, everybody. It's okay. Anyway, just turn that anger into extra energy, focus it onto something else, focus it on being productive, and try and just beat whatever it is that is holding you back with that anger. That sounds a little aggressive, but what else am I gonna do? If I give up, I might just slip back to where I was very unhappy. I know I'm kind of unhappy today, but that doesn't really have anything to do with my whole life situation. It's just a bad day and a bad number on the scale, and I'm letting it affect me more than it usually would. But I was genuinely unhappy at 435 pounds. I don't want to get back there. I didn't even want to get back up to what I'm at today. I think I just sort of have to compare this temporary annoyance with where I'm at and frustration with whole life unhappiness and frustration. It does also help to have someone to talk to. BetterHelp is the service I use, and so I talk to a counselor on my phone, so we have sort of a messaging app back and forth. You can also Skype with them or text them or have a phone call, but having someone else to talk to who's sort of outside of it is very helpful. On a similar note, someone else asked, how do you try and help motivate someone else, especially when they're in a situation where they might not have the funds or the support at home to try and lose weight, but they want to lose weight, well, I say that the most important part first is that they need to want to lose weight and not just be sort of unhappy being overweight, but they need to want it. And I'd say if they don't have much support at home, you might have to offer to be their support. But basically let them know that you're there for them if they want to talk. Let them know that you've had some similar situations. Maybe give them the tools to start finding resources on their own. Like if they can't afford a gym, maybe show them some Pinterest boards that have at-home exercises that they can do, or some time-saving exercises. I'm not saying that you need to do all the work for them, nor am I saying you need to support them financially. I'm saying make yourself sort of available and give them the tools to find those resources. What is my favorite cheat treat or meal? I'm probably not in the best place to answer this because I'm just sort of mad at the whole idea of food at the moment. But I love sushi and I like steak and salmon, but those aren't like all the time things because they're kind of expensive. How am I feeling in general, and is it easier to move around now that I've lost weight? Is there a difference in my energy levels? I'm feeling better in general. Again, that might be because I've been talking to a BetterHelp counselor, but also because I generally feel sort of like I've kind of accomplished something, losing 25% of the weight I set out to lose. I feel frustrated that it's not going down now and that I've sort of hit a plateau. I feel hopeful that it'll go down. Overall, I do have quite a bit more energy, and I've been trying to put it to good use recently instead of just sitting down all the time and being unhappy like with my surroundings. I'm trying to work to sort of change those especially. And is it easier to move now that I've lost weight? Yes, it still hurts, like in my knees especially. Depending on what I'm doing, it's easier for me to stand a lot. It's easier for me to walk around without getting out of breath, move up and down ladders, things like that. But going up and down those ladders and like down or upstairs still really hurts. What's my favorite healthy meal that I've made so far? Probably black bean and corn quesadillas. And am I a Lord of the Rings fan? Yeah, super am. I was gonna take the time to like give an anecdotal answer and like tell a story about it, but I'm trying to be fast here. Any positive comments in my life from people who have noticed the weight loss? Not from anybody who didn't know that I was trying to lose weight. There's one person in my life in particular who knows that I've been trying to lose weight, knows how much weight I've lost, and hasn't said anything about it. And I guess I just now realized how much it bothers me. But from people who don't know that I have been trying and have lost weight, no. But I also don't see that many people just out and about, so. Oh, would I be willing to do a house tour? Yeah, when I get it cleaned up, because right now it's sort of a mess. Any benefits to losing the weight so far? I can fit into some older clothes that I had grown out of. I can buy some new clothes if I need to, but I don't really want to spend the money right now. I can move around easier. I've got more energy. I'm sleeping better. Sometimes my skin's clearer. Not always. Do I have another long-term goal besides 158? Mostly I just want to be able to be active again and go out and enjoy things and not feel self-conscious all the damn time. I might set some as I get closer, but for right now I'm trying to focus on my more current goals, which for this coming up week is to drop all the weight that I gained this week. Have I tried the apple cider vinegar? Yes, once. It only made me feel a little bit sick, but I only did like 1 teaspoon in a giant glass of water, plugged my nose, I just chugged it. I don't know, I haven't done it again, so I don't know if there's any real benefits or anything, because it's just gross. I'll let you know when I actually try it like you're supposed to, like fairly consistently before meals and stuff. How often and how long do I work out? Well, this past week I thought I'd been doing pretty good. As far as actual workouts go, I plan on actually working out in earnest once I hit 350. But if next week goes like this week did, I'm gonna move that timeline up and we're gonna start now. Generally speaking, I have a swim class that is an hour once a week, but it's sort of low impact for my knees. It's not like swimming laps, it's sort of like water aerobics. It sort of depends on the week. Generally speaking though, I wouldn't say what I do is working out. How do I go about buying smaller clothes? Because there's sort of that weird issue of not wanting to waste money that you're going on clothes that you are hopefully going to shrink out of, versus looking frumpy a lot. In a weird way, it's kind of lucky that I hung on to so much, because there are some nicer clothes. Like this shirt used to be much too short for me, and it's still kind of short because I have such an apron belly, but it was also too tight, and now it's plenty loose. So I do have some older clothes that I'm shrinking back into. Another suggestion I have would be to go to the thrift stores, because sometimes there are nice clothes there, like the DAV or the Goodwill or Salvation Army or whatever. And also look on Craigslist or like a OfferUp kind of thing. Sometimes people will be selling their clothes that they're growing out of. You can also maybe start a Facebook group for women who are losing weight, or men who are losing weight, and maybe trading their now too big clothes. My favorite thing to meal prep so far would probably be overnight oats, just because I throw it in and I don't have to do anything. Okay, first I want to preface this. When she asked, she said she hoped it wasn't too intrusive, because I know some people would feel that this was too intrusive. I don't think it is, because I've already sort of opened that door talking about it in another video, and I wrote my thesis on it, so I've given lectures on it. One of the things that I've dealt with researching it, especially how it's represented in our culture, is that it is not talked about enough, and that is infertility. And so she asked, when I get smaller, especially towards my goal weight, am I going to start trying to conceive again? So again, I think the question is fine, and I think that it is something that many people do need to talk about more, because unless you've got all of the special lingo down for specific message boards on like TTC forums, there's not really many people who talk about it openly. So I honestly don't know. I kind of want to say no. I kind of want to say we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. That we have gotten to a point, or I've gotten to a point, where I have to be okay with not being able to have children. I have gotten to a point where we're not trying, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go on birth control or anything, but we also aren't doing fertility treatments and stuff like that. Given up charting my cycles and everything. I have. For one thing, my cycles are so irregular, and with PCOS, I don't ovulate every month anyway. So I've gotten to a point where I just have to be okay with accepting that it might never happen. If I get smaller and it does happen, that's fantastic. I'm not saying I don't want children. I'm just saying I've had to get to a point where I have to be okay not. If I get smaller and a lot of my PCOS symptoms have seemed to resolve themselves, and it seems like that isn't as much of an issue, then maybe we will try again. But right now my first instinct is probably to say no, we aren't going to run the whole gamut of fertility treatments and drugs and specialists. And while I was younger and thinner, they were still issues. So when I am older, even if I do get thinner, I'm also still going to be older. And I am fully aware that it's possible to have children at an older age. I was almost 16 when my little brother was born, and my mother was 42. And there's nobody in between us. So I know that it's possible, but I'll have to see when I get closer. Why didn't keto work for me? It did and it didn't. I've done sorts of keto before, but generally speaking, it was much more expensive than the way I have been eating. It made me feel bad, not just after the initial week where I felt sick, but the whole time I felt lethargic and gross. I was having stomach troubles. I just felt awful the whole time. The first week we tried keto, I gained weight. The second week we went on, I only lost most of that weight. And then the third week, I lost some weight. But it wasn't a huge difference for me. And several people were like, well, it's not really keto unless you're like under 50 grams of carbs or something, but I was under 25 grams of carbs, so I don't know. I felt bad. Short answer, I didn't feel good. I've gotten this question in various forms. Do I get pedicures every week, and isn't that expensive? I've gotten a pedicure twice in my entire life. Once for my wedding, and then once with my mom another time while we were planning my wedding. That's it. I also don't get manicures. Someone else has asked that question. This is gel polish. So for example, this is all of my regular nail polish, And so this is what I use on my toes. I also have gel nail polish. So this is like if you go to a salon and you get the little light thing that keeps your nail polish on for like 2 or 3 weeks. That's what this stuff is. And so it takes a little while and you have to sort of have a steady hand with it, because if you mess it up, you're stuck with it for a while and it's a pain to get off. But I'm one of those people who, more often than not, my hair is probably like up in a bun or something and I won't have makeup on, but at least my nails look good. So I stick with the gel nail polish quite a bit. And someone else has asked, how do I paint my toes then? Because I do have such a big belly. Like I cannot just bend straight over and paint my toes. So I'm gonna answer this question too. Generally speaking, I would sit on a bed or a couch like this and I would keep one foot on the floor and then just turn and put my leg up on the bed. So for example, here's my foot and I can reach it just fine. If you're not very flexible, you might have to sort of stretch out, but this way my belly can sort of be out of the way and my leg is within easy reach. So that's that. I have actually gone through my nail polish several times to try and like declutter it. I keep watching these minimalism videos where they have like 2, maybe 4 bottles of nail polish. I'm like, what? It's like the one thing I do probably buy too much of. Why are we expected to do a whole bunch of work on the house if we don't own it? And the main reason I'm answering this question is because several other people have asked sort of other things like that or mentioned things like that, or like your landlord should take care of it. I don't have a landlord. We actually do own the house. So we don't have to do the work either, but I love our house, but I also want to be able to take a little bit more pride in our house and do some of the stuff that I've wanted to do since we moved in. And then if we ever do sell it, there are some cosmetic things like the cracks in the plaster that I'm not afraid of fixing, but I know would be off-putting to other buyers, especially people who want like a move-in ready house. So that's why we've been trying to work on the house. Also, I just want to show you guys something real quick, because if you did see my house tour and you don't follow me on Snapchat, I showed you guys that I went out and I bought this stuff to try and make the floors shiny. So just to follow up on that, I want to show you how my floors turned out because I'm pretty happy with them. So these are how shiny my floors are now, which I love. And it only costs, I think, $4 or $5. How is Josh doing on his weight loss so far? He's stalled out. Also, he's still hovering right around 300 and he has been for a while. Is my palate changing, or are there any new foods that I like that I didn't used to? Brussels sprouts. I know this is weird, and I might just have had them cooked badly, but when I was quite a bit heavier and getting heavier, I had tried Brussels sprouts for the first time and I thought they were absolutely disgusting. But now, just roast them in the oven for a little while and I'll just eat so many of them. I love them. I don't know why. Actually sounds really good. How has my health improved besides the actual weight loss, and do I have any like quantifiable ways of measuring that, like lab work or measurements? I still haven't started measuring. So I mean, I have the different sizes in my clothes. As far as my blood work goes, other than PCOS and insulin resistance, which both came about before I gained the weight rather than being products of the weight gain, I am mostly fine. My blood pressure is always good. My cholesterol is always good. My, I don't know, triglycerides, platelet count, everything is usually well within normal limits. So I don't think that my blood work will improve that much as I continue to lose weight, because other than the insulin resistance and PCOS, I've never really had severe health issues. Someone wants to know if there has ever been any paranormal activity in my house because it's so old. Short answer, not that I've encountered. I mean, there have been times where there's random noises or things move, but if it is a paranormal entity, I don't think it has a problem with me, and I don't have a problem with it. But a funny story, when we were first moving into this house, it's a long story, but the people who were moving out of the house had to move their closing date back a month, which meant that the closing fell on the day before I left the country for 10 days. So Josh was basically moving into the house by himself while I was in England for school. And my dad was here helping him move some stuff around, and I guess my dad kept giving him a hard time and joking with him about buying an old haunted house and it was gonna be so spooky here by himself. And then like things started crashing in the other room and they kept seeing like shadows moving when it was just the two of them. And so pretty soon my dad started going, but it's probably fine. I'm sure everything's fine. And he stopped making those jokes. I wasn't here for that, but it sounded funny. My hair routine, if you aren't aware, I do have kind of long hair, but my hair routine is pretty simple. I hardly ever put any product in it unless it's dry shampoo. I try and just watch the roots unless I have product in my hair or if I've been swimming or something. And then I just try and put conditioner from like my neck down rather than getting it up here. And I will wash my hair first and then put conditioner like from here down and then wash the rest of me in the shower and get everything else done and then rinse my hair out last so the conditioner has time to set in. I hardly ever blow dry it or straighten it or curl it or anything, and then I try not to wash it more than a couple times a week unless there's some sort of extenuating circumstance. But like if I've been working out or there is product in it or there's for whatever reason I have actually done something to my hair, like straightened it or put hairspray in it, which hardly ever happens, then I'll wash it more often. But if it's just normal, that's about it. Every now and then if I'm feeling extra fancy, I might put like a deep conditioning thing or some coconut oil on it or something. I don't do much to it. Do I have any other rooms to declutter? Most of them. No, but seriously, I do need to go through my kitchen really bad and through all of my clothes really bad. Other than that, I don't have a lot of stuff sitting out everywhere because I would just throw things in this room. Like as I was going through the house, if it didn't belong in that room, I'd like throw it in a basket. And then rather than putting that basket away, I'd hide it in the office and shut the door for when people came over. So a lot of the other rooms in my house aren't very cluttered. Because all the clutter wound up in here. But I do have some things I need to go through. What does Josh think about BetterHelp? And has he noticed any difference in me because of it? I don't know. We haven't really talked about it. I mean, like, he was all for it and supportive of me doing that, and since I like it and I feel better doing it, then he's all for it. We don't really talk about it that much. How much time do I spend on average working on my videos versus blog and social stuff? As far as the blog goes, like when I do it with me weight loss and I actually bother to catch up on the blog and like get the shopping list and nutrition information and all of that stuff done, that's probably at least an hour to an hour and a half. And then like writing a blog post maybe takes me like 30 minutes. As far as social media goes, I've been trying to be a lot more active on it, but I usually just forget or I get busy doing other things, so I don't spend that much time on social media. As far as videos go, for example, right now I have about 10 more questions to get through. This video is 55 minutes currently, which means that I'm going to have to edit it down quite a bit, and so the editing is probably going to take 2 or 3 hours, and then it takes a little while to process it, quite a bit longer to upload it. The longer the video is, the longer it takes to upload. While it uploads, then I usually work on the metadata and the front matter, so like the description and the tags, and deciding what videos I might want to link to. I also have to create the like thumbnail for it, and going through all of my comments and on various platforms and finding some questions to answer and writing them down. And if I do have not like a script, but like if I'm writing out what I want to say or what I want to write a blog post about, that probably takes at least another hour to an hour and a half. So for a video, like this video, all in all, will probably be 4 to 5 hours worth of work for this video. So maybe I better speed it up and stop saying so much so I don't have to edit all that out. There's been a lot of confusion about this. Do I eat the same thing every day when I meal prep? I do. So I will make one meal, well, not one meal, I will take one day, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, and then I will repeat that meal throughout the week for 6 days, and then on the 7th day, that's my unstructured day. How would I not get bored of that? I do get bored of that. I get bored of that hardcore, which is part of why I think I've been getting more and more lax on cheat days and maybe going overboard on cheat days. So it's just a lot less work for me this way. And less work for me is usually more important than being interested in what I'm eating. Also, since I'm trying to change my view of what I'm eating to something to fuel my body rather than something I'm doing as a response or because I enjoy it, I guess that's good, but I do get tired of it. I really get tired of it. Will I do an art or a journal tour? Maybe talk a little bit more about my writing and work and stuff like that. Maybe some more about my business and like starting a home business, my collection of board games. Sure, probably in another video because it's kind of involved and would be kind of long for this one. Do I follow the Vlogbrothers? I do, but not as closely as I used to. Would I ever consider getting loose skin surgery? I kind of touched on this in the last q&weigh video. I would consider it if I can afford it, and if I ever get to when I get to that point, I would consider it. Would I consider replacing the plaster with drywall? Yes and no. So we have done that in another room, and the amount of work it took to get the plaster and lath out was immense. And that was just for our bathroom. That was the smallest room in the house. And it was hard. And then this question I also got several times after I showed it in some pictures, and that is, what is my planner? This is my planner, and it's, I'm not sponsored, throwing that out there. I just really like these because this is my second one of these. This is from Tools for Wisdom on Amazon, and I will put an affiliate link in the description box down below. Again, they aren't paying me to say this, I really like these. So this planner is also for planning out goals, whether it's personal or business goals or both. So it starts with a section for just a bunch of notes, things that you might want to accomplish and get done. There's a whole goals section. So like, where am I at now? Where do I want to be? What can I do to get there? Personal goals and ideas, business goals and ideas. A big goal that you want to accomplish this year, breaking it up into several main objectives, and each objective broken up into a step. So for example, let's say you want to write a book. That would be your main goal. One of your first objectives might be to complete some market research. So for market research, you might need to know, what are the demographics? What's the target audience? What's the standard price point? What are the avenues for publishing? What is the pros and cons between self-publishing versus traditional publishing? Then your next objective might actually be planning the book and then breaking that down into an outline, characters. Is it going to be character driven or plot driven, etc. Like, it's pretty handy. And let me show you what the actual journal itself looks like. So you've got a month view like this, and then these are your goals here that you want to get done during the month. These are for notes and ideas, obviously a calendar. Each month also has like, what are your main goals for this month? Personally, professionally, your essential goals specifically for this month. So this is what an actual week looks like. Days, your main goal for the day, an hour by hour breakdown, your top priorities with little check boxes, your secondary priorities and other things, and then notes and ideas on this side, and then also your weekly goals section. So it's got notes, ideas, goals, daily goals, weekly goals, etc. And so for me, who is a little bit, I don't want to say I'm like uptight or anything, but I like to be in control. So for example, these are my monthly goals and these are what I've gotten done so far, but we're coming up on the end of the month. So this weekend, some of these other ones should probably be done. This is what my week looks like right now. I'm not going to show you too much of it just because some of it's personal and some of it's other stuff I've got in the works, but I like having an hourly breakdown and a daily breakdown and a monthly overview and a section for notes and goals that I don't necessarily want to write on that day. So the first one of these I got was almost 2 years ago because I was a grad student and a GTA and doing other work. So this was great for me. And so I wanted it again. I looked for other ones, but this one's just had everything I needed. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this video is going to be long, I can tell. If there's anything I didn't go very in-depth in, feel free to leave me a comment down below, and I'd be happy to go to more in-depth in another video, as well as about things like our video games and my writing and my work and stuff like that. Those can all be another video another time. For now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video. Thank you guys for all your questions. I hope wherever you are, you're safe and happy and healthy. Remember to just keep trying, even when you want to just throw your scale into the fire pit. I will see you guys on Monday. Bye.